And good morning once again, everybody. We're going to take another look at the Road to the Apocalypse, where we look at the development roadmap here. I'm on the deadlinger.com, and yesterday we talked about some boats. So let's see what we got today under vehicles and transportation. We talked about boats and aircraft. So let's take a moment to talk about bicycles, skateboards, and other small modes of transport. It says here, information withheld by order of the Department of Virus Research and Control. Well, where we currently stand is we have none of that. Okay, like everything else, there's no current mode of transportation other than your 2 feet and the shoes that you find. But that being said, as of the time of this recording, March 18th, 2014, right before Build 13 comes out, they do have a working bicycle. Not currently in the game, but on their test servers and testing, they've got a bicycle. Now, that being said, I haven't seen official patch notes yet that talk about the inclusion of the bicycle. It is frustrating because they've shown a lot of cool stuff that they have, like work in progress wise, and they've shown hints and pictures of zombie textures and the female player character and the bicycle, but we haven't seen yet if it's coming in. So it's quite possible that when Build 13 comes out, we will have the bicycle. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. That's the thing is, with any game, whether it's an alpha testing or a big company release, before the game comes out, they like to talk about things and show screenshots, but that doesn't mean that's what's going to come out. So if bicycles do come out, then we can at least have this checked off on that category. Bingo, bicycles. Now, when you want to talk about skateboards and other small modes of transport, again, when is too much going to be enough? Too much. I know I like to have options, and I think that's fine. It's just that I'm just trying to think what other kind of small modes of transportation are there other than the bicycles. Then there's unicycles, then there's you're going to find shoes with the wheelies so you can go wheelie past the zombies. There just has to be a point where you say, we've got the basics covered. We have bicycles, we have some cars, a truck. I like the idea of the RV, maybe a helicopter, and some boats. And the only reason why I say let's not go too crazy with all these different forms of transportation is at some point you're just going to have a cluttered map, and then things are going to lose their importance. Because if they just bring out so many types of trucks, so many types of cars, then the players won't really have to ever worry about finding trucks and cars. In the world, when you watch a lot of zombie movies and stuff like that, yeah, there's cars and trucks and things all along highways and roads because people were trying to leave a city or trying to get to a city for protection. The big thing becomes gas. So I could see, if they went the route of go ahead and throw and have cars and trucks and RVs everywhere in the world, but then gas is going to be the commodity. So I can definitely see different ways to balance the amount of these items versus, their rarity and their scarcity. Because it's true, in the world that we live in, depending on where you go in the world, there's cars and trucks and things everywhere. So finding one of those isn't too difficult. But what then becomes the thing is gas. Okay, so I could see you going ahead and just putting cars and trucks everywhere. Maybe not out in the middle of a green pasture or next to the cabin, maybe have like some SUV or something next to the cabin. But then again, the thing will be gas. That could also be good because if you play like a multiplayer game, if you have all these abandoned vehicles, then that's going to be competition for gas. And I know I talked earlier about having currency in the world. Well, gas could become your currency. Now, the persistent server is what's going to hold that to be true. If you play on servers where folks are either shutting down often or those servers are crashing and being reset, your game data doesn't save all the time, that's going to kind of suck in building that persistent feel of, okay, here I am, I'm a scavenger, I'm finding gas, I'm trading it for bullets, this person here has a lot of ammo, or this person has food and water. Well, I have gas. And either you're fighting for those resources, or you're pitching together in that societal kind of thing against the zombies. Because what I like about where they're going here with the dead Linger versus, say, DayZ, is that they're putting in lots and lots of zombies. And I've heard some folks say, hey, if you want to increase that sense of cooperation on something like the DayZ standalone, put more zombies. Because right now, the folks who are looking for some action, there's not a whole lot of zombies. Like the ratio of zombies to players is a lot lower than what they would like. And so that leaves the player versus player. Well, you take the dead Linger and you have so many more zombies, and pretty soon your death penalties are going to make survival actually a part of the game. Then I could see people working together to kind of store these items. And so gas for vehicles is actually something that could become a very important commodity. So even though you've got available vehicles, if you don't have gas, they won't do you any good. So I could see that as being the big balancing thing, and something that would go really good towards like a role play community or a co-op community. It would be kind of supporting that nomadic lifestyle. Either you had to move from city to city to find the gas, because some people are going to like their vehicles. They're going to like their road warrior lifestyle. They're going to like taking that car and maybe adding attachments to it for weapons and stuff. And it won't do you any good if you have no gas. So you're going to constantly be driving from city to city, siphoning gas off of all the abandoned vehicles you find, just to keep your road warrior lifestyle going. Now, like a comment that I had yesterday, and I forget who, I should start writing down the names of who share these comments, but a real cool comment was like, we don't necessarily like the idea of having like big aircraft like 747s that your characters could get into and fly. But like if you could take a structure, and if you could dig into the earth and place the structure, so like you take the fuselage of a jet, or maybe the whole jet, just bury the jet, or an RV, and then you're living underground inside that vehicle, then as long as it would give you shelter and a comfortable bunker to live in. So I'm seeing lots of cool potential items and things to do for vehicles that would support a static lifestyle as well. And then gas might not be as important. I'm not saying you can currently bury stuff, but it was just the thought that you can just take these existing structures. So instead of having a nomadic life, you could have a stationary life and live around that, what you turn into a base. Like I was thinking the RV, take the RV out into an isolated area where you don't necessarily have a cabin, but now you can live from the RV. Go scavenge parts, bring it back to the RV to kind of armor it up, put your weapons and stuff in it, so it's like a defensive position as well, and you don't have to worry about gas. And then at some point, as they add in farming, then that would just be your home. That would be your place to live. So the potential is there for a lot of cool stuff. So if you go ahead and flood the world with vehicles, then gas is gonna be that denominating factor that makes them essentially scarce. Yeah, I see cool cars, I just can't drive any of them. But then when it comes to like bicycles and things of that nature, it's real common for a lots of places in middle America to actually go buy a lot of homes, and they have bicycles. So bicycles are very common. So depending on what kind of advantage you get from a bicycle, putting too many, again, negates their scarcity, and then that awe factor of, ooh, I found a bicycle. So it's really trying to balance that need for survival sense versus, well, everything we need is plentiful. So that's why I'm thinking if you add in bicycles and skateboards and all these other small modes of transportation, then at some point are you negating that feeling of survival, or just, oh, I'm just gonna walk over here, look in the house garage, and I got a bicycle, I'm good, and I'm jousting zombies now and riding from place to place. So it's cool. I don't mind having stuff in there. I have a skateboard. I'm not sure how good my skateboard skills would be off-roading. Same with the bicycle too. At some point, are they going to model off-road effects, or is my, skateboard only limited to the roads that they have, or places of pavement? Because to be honest, I've not seen too many skateboarders that take it off-road, and as the world in the games becomes more and more apocalyptic with overgrowth and stuff like that. It's amazing that you can go from house to house to house, and they have these amazingly clipped yards. There, it's you see bushes and stuff growing up, but things aren't terribly crazy yet. But I just don't see people using skateboards unless it's strictly on the roads or other paved structures. And I think that would be kind of fun. Once they get like the barricading system in place better, you could actually go and have people who build skate ramps. When bicycles come out, I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to put in some kind of ramp. I haven't been able to figure out how to nail 2x4s and plywood sheets to each other yet. That's a skill that eludes me, but I could see the enterprising person making a ramp so they could take their bicycle and go make jumps, or various evil Knievel type of things. So that I only point that out because I think as they add in some of these small things, not that you want to take away from the seriousness of the post-apocalyptic world, but people are people. People like to invent and do things and find ways to have fun. So even though you're in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world, hey, it's possible that you might had been a former skateboarder in your life, and now every skateboard in the world is yours. Why not use it and go skateboarding? And you can almost see like a Zombieland type of scary slash humor, whatever, where you're just taking your skateboard and you're just weaving in and out of the zombies that are hanging out on the road. Those things build memories as well. You're just like, man, I just remember when. And if you play on a multiplayer server, you can have races and do different things. So the bicycle skateboards, to me, do represent a sense of transportation to a degree, but also represent a chance to bring some humanity into the game as well. Those moments of levity. And if you play on a multiplayer and you schedule some kind of event, you're going to have players who act as security, and then some other players who are actually out doing skating. Not that they're going to throw in, you can do your 360 double twisting pike tuck, skateboard tricks and stuff, but you might do races like the first one to this part, and can whip around and come back. Just basic fun things like that to help add a little sense of community to the game. For a single player stuff, it's still going to be fun, because I know if it's a skateboard, people are just going to spend hours and hours just skating around town, skating on roads, trying to maneuver in and out of zombies. That's just people. But you know what? I think that's fun. I just don't want them to forget that, if you put these things everywhere, then that sense of scarcity, that sense of, survival is not going to be there, which is, why they don't have backpacks every single place that you go. I have learned now where to go and find backpacks, and I can generally get them right away when I start a new game. So even that is kind of like, it's lost some of the that sense of urgency. So if you do the same thing with bicycles as that valid form of transportation, if bicycles are everywhere, then that sense of scarcity is gone. So just be careful. Add in all these really cool stuff. People will find ways to use them fun, or for serious survival. But just be careful. If you put too much, then at some point you're losing that sense of urgency and that sense of this is really needed for survival. So how to balance that, I'll leave that up for them. But for now, I'll just comment on it. So again, bicycles are not in the game, but with luck, we'll see it in Build 13. Which, let me just hop over here there's not been a whole lot of activity on the wiki, or not the wiki, but on their the Twitter. So I'm not gonna wait until Friday, but just the last little Twitter thing that I saw here said Build 13 Quality of Life release is coming out within the week, so it's on the way. Lots of us have just been making comments how the game has almost taken on that vaporware kind of a feel. Not really. I mean, 6 months would have been a vaporware kind of feel. Like, oh my gosh, 6 months later, no communication. But the thing is, they communicate nearly daily. So it's not like the game has gone away. But sometimes you get a feeling like, are they just kind of taking a break? And maybe they are. Hey, they're people, they need a break too. But because we're just so anxious and supportive of the game, we just want our content. Come on, Dead Linger. But it's coming to an end. So this week, when they say something like this week, within the week, I don't think they're going to make their Tuesday, Wednesday type of traditional release is what I've heard they usually go for. And I say what I've heard is because I've only been here for build 12. And I think that came out on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's kind of the joke. They release on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. I don't know if that's a joke, but that's kind of the thing. But they might not make it because today's Tuesday and I haven't heard anything about a release. So it's possible this might go for like a weekend type of thing. But that's just a speculation. And that's one reason why I've only recorded episodes of the Daily Dead up to Thursday. So if they did come out with it on like a Friday or something, then I'd be all set to record something new. So we'll see how it goes. But thanks for watching. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow.